Emmaus, the story, found in Luke chapter 24, verses 13 through 35. Verbal processing. That's what the two men did as they walked. The crisp afternoon was dusty with just a bit of chill from the springtime air as they headed toward Emmaus, about 7 miles from Jerusalem. So much had happened. They needed to step away from the stifling crowds of Jerusalem and get a breath of air. Yet their voices were quick to tremble. The torment of the unknown left many questions hanging in the air. Firm footsteps were heard near them as a stranger with a friendly voice drew near. "What are you talking about as you walk and are sad?" "Are you a stranger in Jerusalem?" Cleopas said, a bit too sharply. "Haven't you heard the things that have been going on?" "What things?" the stranger asked innocently. "About Jesus of Nazareth," bellowed Cleopas with thinly veiled exasperation, "a mighty prophet before God and the people. Our chief priests condemned him to death and crucified him, but we thought he was the one to save Israel." The stranger quietly listened as they vented their disappointment. "Some of our company astonished us with a wild story. They saw a vision of angels and said he was alive. We went to the tomb, but we didn't see any angels, just an empty grave." Cleopas shrugged, unsure what to think. Now it was the stranger's turn to voice his irritation. Was that a bit of grief in his voice? "Oh, fools and slow of heart to believe all the prophets have spoken," he lamented, to the astonishment of his hearers. "Didn't the Christ have to suffer these things and enter into his glory?" Cleopas and Simon were amazed. Verse by verse, the stranger gave the two men a Bible lesson they would never forget. This was the clarity they longed for. When they reached Emmaus, the stranger indicated he was going further, but they urged him to stay. "Please stay with us," they said. "The day is spent and the evening is closing in." He obliged, joining them at the table for a meal. Suddenly, their eyes were opened. Baruch atah Adonai. As the stranger said the Hebrew blessing and broke the bread, they looked up, astonished. They knew this man. It was the Master. In an instant, he vanished into thin air. Golden words hung in the air like a ray of light for a moment. The broken bread lay on the table, but they were too excited to eat. Turning to each other, the men said, "Didn't our hearts burn within us as he spoke of the scriptures?" Of course, it was the Lord all the time. Leaping from the table, they traveled back to Jerusalem with wings on their feet. Banging on the door of the upper room, they exclaimed to the first person who cracked it open, "The Lord is risen indeed and has appeared to Simon." Maybe you've been there, when you just need to talk it out and walk with a friend. Your hopes and dreams are disappointed, and you can't understand why God didn't step in to save the day. Maybe you're even a little harsh with others who don't seem to understand. Yet, in the middle of the walk, someone comes alongside to talk you through the pain. They remind you of God's promises in the midst of life's unfairness. Maybe they even challenge your faith a bit, give you a little kick in the pants to get your focus turned back on. The dull ache subsides, and your heart begins to burn again. In a moment of truth, you realize the Lord's been speaking all the time.